Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. I'm Mike Pullen and this video is going to be all about drop shot fishing. Target species are going to be perch. Gear I'm going to be using is, this rod is it's a Rockfish Revolution and it's got a casting weight of 1 to 8 grams. Really small rod, it's only 7 foot, really tiny lightweight rod with really sensitive tip for that bite indication. I'm using braided mainline, again for the bite indication. It's got no stretch, so you can really feel those nibbles and those takes. I'm using 25-pound braid, which most of you will probably think that's overkill for perch, but it's just to cover me really, because if I get my lure snagged, something like that, into a big branch, say, I can at least pull that and maybe get my lure back. The other thing I'm using is 15-pound fluorocarbon. Again, pretty strong, but I want some tough resistant stuff so that I don't lose my lure, and then just in case a pike or something comes along, I've got a chance of landing it. So I'm going to head out just down to local small streams really and rivers, and I'm going to try and give you guys some really good tips on drop shot fishing and what's worked for me. So I hope you enjoy the video. I'm going to be doing some drop shotting. I'm literally only going to be doing in the afternoon, so about 1 o'clock until probably 4 or 5, if that. I've already been fishing about an hour and a half actually, nearly 2 hours. I've had about 6 perch already. I lost one of the lures, one of the Kraken ones that I love, the 2-inch Kraken from FishAction, but I'm still staying with FishAction, and I've gone for the Attractor Shad DS. These are really good. Okay, they've got lots of movement. It's a size 2 drop shot hook there. It's just nicked through the nose, plenty of movement for that lure, up and down and a long ways, and I've just found a stereotypical perch swim that when you find these sort of swims, they are like gold dust. Let me show you. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, we have got a bit of a mess really. Well, it looks like a mess to a non-fisherman, but to a fisherman this is gold dust. We've got a monster oak tree down over there, big huge tree down there, loads of slack water in there, and another smaller tree that's fallen down here. There is plenty of slack water. Okay, the pacey water's coming through down here, this gap. You can almost see a little waterfall through the gap there, so it's ploughing through there really fast, shooting off down there. Now I've got slack water over there, all the way here up through to there. That's all slack water. And if I was going to be a perch, I'd be sat probably right about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a throw out with the Attractor Shad DS that I've now got on, and we're going to twitch it and cast out, hopefully land it about there. The lead, got a little 5 gram lead on, pretty overkill really. I only really need 3 grams, but I'll go with the 5 grams. And I'm going to twitch it back. Probably bite time will be about here. I would have thought perch probably be hiding behind here, around the sides here, and they'll get it. Sometimes they'll be right there, yeah, they'll follow it and take it there. So I'll have a throw out and let's see what we can get. I'll also probably try under here and definitely in the slack over there. Let's give it a go. Ooh, fish on! Told you, right in the kill zone. Oh, not a bad perch, not a bad perch. Not bad, I say. Right on the zone that I was saying about. There's the little Attractor Shad DS, first cast. Got it on the chest cam as well. Tell me that's not totally awesome, folks. What a beauty. Now perch are shoalfish, so I am 100% going to do a good few more casts in that swim. See if I can get a few more. Look at that dorsal fin sticking up proud. Lovely orange fins as well, pec fins, brilliant. What a stunning fish. Let's go get some more. Right, here we go again, second cast. Let's see if I can get second fish on the cast. Ready? Lures in the kill zone. I love it. That Attractor Shad is just lethal. Sorry about the plane coming over, but I am on a free stretch. Look at that. Not as big as the last one. Am I chuffed? Yes. Again, the little sort of purple and blue, sparkly Attractor Shad doing the business. Every time you have a fish, it's always worth checking your lure. So, because sometimes it can get all tangled up like this. Gets all bunched up. No good. It needs to be able to swim right. So double check your lure's fine. Now that may seem overkill, that hook size 2 with that lure, but
I've just caught 2 fish on 2 casts, so it definitely isn't. It's a size 2, I think it's a mustard drop shot one, barbed obviously, got loveless lure, loads of movement, and it's just nose hooked. And because it's the everlasting formula, this lure, they just can get take after take after take like this, and they can get pulled about, look at that, and they just keep going and going. I love them. So 3rd cast, can we get 3rd fish? Let's see. Going for the same spot. No, I'm not, because I'm in a tangle. Well, I've had 3 fish at least from that swim, and I'm still going to keep going because I'm still getting bites. And you know what, when it's fun like that, they may not be huge, but when you're catching fish, do you really care? I don't. Yeah, I'd love a big perch, wouldn't everyone? But I'm out here fishing, I've got the afternoon off. That's all you can do really, isn't it? Just enjoy yourself. Boom! Back of the net. Number 4 from exactly the same swim. Goes to show they don't get spooked, they are shoal fish, they will come back. There's number 4. Just keep going in that same swim. If you want to move on and go to a different swim, by all means do so. Just keep at it. If you're catching fish, why would you change swims? I can't stop this perch fishing, guys. It's just too much fun. I want to move on to the next swim, but I'm catching fish, so I can't really resist. Yes, they're not massive, but there's definitely plenty of them. So I'm going to leave the camera rolling for a bit, do a few more casts, see if I can get maybe a few more fish for the camera, or maybe the odd bigger one. I won't be too bothered if I keep getting the small ones. I'm still enjoying it. Do you know what? The best thing is this is a free stretch. I love it. On the money. That's at least perch number 10, I'd say. Bites the dust. It's not a massive one. I'm going to have a few more casts, but that's the famous words of a fisherman, isn't it? Just a few more casts. Cast number 457. Fish number 457. Awesome, that is totally awesome. Small but cool, love it. Shows how effective that drop shot technique is. Perch after perch after perch. It's wicked, guys, get on it.
One of the most important things to remember when you're drop shot fishing is always check your lure. The last thing you want is to cast out a lure that's not going to catch you a fish.
Well, I'm going to call it a day. It's now 4:30, so I've been here 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 3-hour session. I've had 27 perch. None of them massive, none of them over a pound, but what a sport. Really, really enjoyed it. You know, don't have the time sometimes. I know some of you guys, you know, working in the week, you just don't have the time to go fishing. So an afternoon session like that to get 27 perch is, to me, it's just awesome. Really enjoyed it, really loving this drop shot technique at the moment. I'll definitely get out and do some more. It's just lethal. Just a slow, constant retrieve is one of the tips, always winding, and just slow tweaks up and down, and a lot of the time they get it on the drop, so you've always got to stay tight to that line. If you tweak it and then let it flutter down with slack line, they'll grab it, turn and spit it out as soon as they feel it. So definitely slow, sort of slow retrieve, jerk up, but follow that line down, wind that slack up, down, wind that slack up, and it's brilliant. Man, do they slam those lures, it is awesome. Another thing is when you hook them, you've got to keep winding. Okay, you just wind down, pull up, wind down, pull up. As soon as you pause, when you've hooked them, they just, somehow they can spit the hook out a lot of the time. They won't be, because their take is so aggressive, it's not necessarily hook in the mouth. Sometimes they get hooked on just on the outside of the mouth. So just one of the things to watch out for is keep that constant retrieve when you've hooked one. I'm sure you'll see it on the chest mount that I've got. Just keep that constant retrieve, just in case they do spit it out. There's nothing worse than getting a fish right near the net and then they go and throw the lure last minute. Take a net with you. I've got a little sort of foldable trout net, really. I'll just grab it. It's only about 4 foot long, but it does extend. You can twist it and extend it to about 6 feet, 7 feet, which is dead handy. And because it's a trout net, you press that button and it folds like that. Just clip on your waist. It's just a little thing that's dead handy. Be careful when you swing the perch in, especially if you're on an ultralight tackle, because the Albright knot and stuff, that the knot that holds the fluorocarbon to the braid, it's not going to be the strongest knot on ultralight tackle, so I wouldn't swing the bigger fish in. I was only swinging in the small fish. To be honest, I didn't get any massive fish in today. If I had got anything but a pound or above, 100% I would have used the net. A, because it's a big fish to me. I wouldn't mind catching a pounder on that technique. And B, for the fish safety, you know, it's just, you don't really want it popping off with the hook gone in its mouth. So just be wary of swinging them in. Use the net if you can, as much as you can. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm going to get out and do some more drop shot fishing for you guys. But there's just, you know, a couple of tips if you pick up any of Swim's technique, and it might help you catch that extra fish. Well, I'm down here at the river and I am doing a bit more drop shotting, and this time I've gone for, it's kind of a purpley with a bit of glitter in it, the Attractor Shad DS. I've gone for 15 pound fluorocarbon today. Now that sounds stupidly tough and strong, but it's mainly because I've never fished here before, this stretch, and I don't know what sort of fish could be in here, so I've gone almost a bit heavier. I'd rather go heavier. Then I've got the 5 gram drop shot weight there, small 2,500 size reel, and I've got braid on there as well. This is something like 20 pound braid. It's really, really strong, but just in case a pike or something did take it, I might have a chance of landing it. Then there's my little drop shot rod. Well, I'm literally at the first swim I've come to, and already the water clarity is looking really good. We've had a slight drop in temperature. It's lovely and fresh. It's a real proper autumn day, and it's got predator fishing written all over it. So I'm fishing at a swim that probably no one else would ever even dream of fishing. It is covered in snacks. Thankfully the leaves are off the tree, so it gives me a bit of visibility looking in there. But what I'm going to do is, if you watch, I'm going to wind my drop shot rig right up, because I can't swing this out underneath, so I've wound it up, and that's how much I've got off it. Look, 2 feet, there's the rod tip, 1 foot, there's the lure, 1 foot, there's the weight. And all I'm going to do is, that just helps me to walk into the swim, and then I'm ready to drop that down as soon as I can. So it's pretty snaggy. Never fished this swim in my life. It looks a bit slippy. Now I'm in this swim, and now all I've got to do, I've got my finger on the bail arm here,
I've opened the bail arm, so that lead's loose, and I'm just going to pendulum it a couple of times like this, backwards, forwards, just to give me some momentum, and then I'm just going to flick it out, not even 10 yards out. I'd say that's about 6 yards out. And then if you watch my rod tip, if you can see it there, I'm doing a slow retrieve, I'm staying constant to the line, and I'm barely jigging that. Oh, there we go, fish on. Oh, he come off. Doesn't matter, this happens a lot. So I'll swing out, and if you watch my reel, I'm doing a really constant retrieve and just always staying in contact with that line, keeping my rod tip low so that I can strike the fish. I just had another bump. Rod tip low so I can strike up and I don't hit any trees. Now I had another bump on there. Don't be afraid to cast in the same area that you just had a bump, because these fish go nuts for this lure. Make sure you bring that lure all the way to your feet. Because a lot of the time they'll follow it and you get that take right under your feet, and it's an absolute buzz when they do. They just slam it sometimes right under your feet last minute where they followed it all the way in, and you do something different and it just switches them on. It's kind of like trout fishing in a way with the fly. Let's try a different area of the swim. Go right down there. I'm going to go a bit lower now and sit down so I've got a better angle. Always keep that rod tip low to the water when you're in snaggy situations like this, just so that when I strike I've got room to set the hook and hopefully not snap my rod on any trees up there. Another tip is when you cast out, leave it there for maybe 10 seconds, especially in an area like this where there is absolutely no flow and it's not going to move my lure. Leave it there for 10 seconds, let the perch get used to it, and then jiggle it, and you'll find within 3 or 4 winds they will absolutely nail it. Like that. See? I'll do it again. They get used to this little worm sitting around them, and then suddenly you tweak it out of nowhere and they don't want that prey to escape, so they absolutely nail it. And I've had a few perch like that, just letting the lure sit there and then tweak it 10 seconds later. Look, I've made the cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll start retrieving. 8, 9, 10. Fish on. Fish on. It's not a big one, but it goes to show, and you've got to, there you go, look, it's not going to set the world alight, but it just goes to show that 10 seconds of leaving it there, especially in slack water, they get used to it, it's in their surroundings, and then you tweak it. Probably the smallest perch I've ever caught. You tweak it and they go nuts for it.
That's a better fish.
Yeah, just off the edge of the fast current. And if I can hold this net out, hopefully land him. Oh, he's in. Let's come up and show you guys. Right.
Jungle fishing.
It is proper jungle fishing, this. Right, let's have a look at him. What a fine beauty. Look at his dorsal up like that. Look at that. Absolutely, I think I'm totally addicted to this. On that lure, let it sit there on the edge of the fast current that time. Tweaked it in. And he nailed it. Awesome fun. Let's get him back and get some more. I'm not going home yet.
You got one?
Oh, it's a PB.
Half pounder again or what?
I don't know, it's huge.
I heard a splash.
I'm fishing like a school kid here under the tree. Snag City. And
Yeah.
I'm on my little drop shot rig, and this
Oh,
is
that's a big perch.
absolutely-
I didn't come up because I thought you were just catching like 6-ounce ones still. That's a nice perch, that one. That is a totally
That is
awesome proper perch.
PB perch. Tell you what, on a soft plastic lure, you cannot get much better than that. We'll get him unhooked. Oh man,
That's a proper
I'm
perch.
shaking.
That's a proper perch. He's fallen off the hook.
He's just come off. Look at this. That is totally awesome perch fishing.
That's a proper perch, that one.
Check that out, people. What an absolute beauty on the drop shot. I don't know what it, wait, what do you reckon, Dad? It's my PB anyway.
He's not far, he'd be 2, I'd say 2. He might be a tad over 2.2, something like that.
I've not got my scales, but that's a PB. What an awesome fish! Look at the size of that dorsal fin, man. I'm shaking, I was sitting under that tree like a little kid. Wasn't actually the Kraken, this was the Attractor Shad DS from FishAction.
What one of those FishAction rubber ones, yeah.
Yeah, what a monster. I want to get some stills.
Bloody hell, yes.
Well, here we go. Got the photos, I've let him recover in the net. What an absolute stunner. No denying that ain't totally awesome, people. That's my PB perch. We reckon about 2.2, don't we, Dad?
Something like that.
What do you guys think? That's all I don't know.
Yeah, he's over 2 pounds.
He's got a beauty gut. What an awesome fish. Yeah. Just goes to show that drop shot fishing on those little soft plastic lures. Incredible. Let's let him go. Look at that, he's just sitting there. Oh, wow,
he bullet off. The thing is,
awesome.
He didn't look very big when he was in the water.
Come out,
What does a big one look like?
I was skidding, I've got a brown arse, not in both senses of the word.
Yeah.
I was just skidding down the bank.
Brilliant perch,
He
that one.
absolutely stripped me back 4 or 3 times. What a quality fish. I'm going.
So pack up now?
Probably pack up, but then, you know, it's the last 5-minute warning and I've just had a fish like that. I think I might have to drop the lure in a few times.
And where did you bring my rod?
Where?
Yeah, where's my rod?
I didn't.
Oh, nice.
It's just mine, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
I would lend you it, but I've just caught a 2 pound perch.
It's at least 2 to 2.2. The other guys can tell us what they think it weighs.
Oh, it was awesome either way. I'm chuffed. Awesome.
Well done.
Well, the great thing about this mobile roving type of fishing is you can cover a lot of ground and have a great chance of catching fish, really. And this time of year you get the sort of storms that happened last winter, and you get big trees that fall down. There's a fallen tree over there, there's another one around the bend, and they create whole new swims of slack water, and they change the whole flow and dynamics of the river, and they can definitely create some pretty good perch swims. Another fish right by an overhanging tree, not the biggest one, but I'm still enjoying it. I don't mind whether I catch these or huge perch, either way it's all fun to me. And look, that's just hooked there on the top, and this was caught right by a fallen down tree in the slack water. Oh well, another fish on, and this time it was under an overhanging tree, not one that's fallen down, but under an overhanging tree. And he's in. Not a bad size again, not a bad size. And there we go, look, top lip again. I've noticed a lot of the time with this drop shot fishing, it's all top lip. Because that hook is sticking out to the side and up, facing up, it's all top lip. Look, just falls out nicely. And there we have it, if I get the line out of the way. Another perch caught under an overhanging tree. Awesome. We'll get him back, and I'm going to keep going. Well, another tip, guys, is pay attention to the leaves on the water. Especially, we're well into autumn now, getting towards the back end of autumn, and you get all these leaves that fall down on the surface of the water, and they tell you where the fast flow is and where the slow flow is. You see leaves moving quickly, there's not likely to be perch in there because that's the fast bit. But those leaves that are coming round off the back of that fast bit and just sitting there slowly, that's the slack water, and they can tell you exactly where the slack water is, and that's where I'd be dropping that lure.
Well, do you know what, guys? I couldn't resist coming back down to the river again after yesterday's monster perch. I mean, that got me absolutely buzzing, that fish. I'm supposed to be marking my Year 5 geography books, but do you know what? I've got a couple of hours and I just thought, can I resist going down to that river? The conditions are exactly the same as yesterday. We had a little bit of rain overnight, so it slightly tinged the colour. But what can you do? You know, I've got this couple of hours slot today, so I'm going to go for it. Exactly the same Attractor Shad DS lure, same colour, same hook size, size 2, and a 5 gram lead. And I'm going to give you some tips on some swims. Today I'm fishing quite a nice swim here, and hopefully I may get another perch or two. Chances of them being the same size as yesterday, very slim, but you never know, do you, with fishing? I'm just addicted to it at the moment. So let's cast this lure out and see what we can get. It's really important when you're drop shot fishing to keep that line tight all the time. So if you watch, I've got a constant retrieve on that reel. It's not a fast retrieve, it's a slow retrieve, and every now and then I'm just jigging the rod tip. And you must stay tight to that line because the bites are so quick with perch. You'll feel this sudden judder and then they're on. And you need to be ready to strike, so you don't want any slack in your line. Cast it over to the slack areas of water like I just did there. I'm fishing that slack over there, and I let it sit there. That's the beauty of drop shotting. I can let it sit in that slack area because the lead just sits there and there's no flow, so I know my lure's in the kill zone. Then I can just tweak it a couple of times. Often you get the bite almost straight away if you get the right cast. Don't wind through. When you get into the faster water, don't slow down your retrieve, because if you think about it, a small kind of injured bait fish isn't going to be swimming really fast through against the current of a fast flow. It's going to be swimming pretty slow and probably struggling. So you've got to think how perch would think. They're going to go for the bait fish that are struggling and weak in the current. So the more you can make your lure look like it's struggling and weak, the greater chance you have of landing a perch. Had about 6 casts here, probably going to change swims now and look for another area of slack water. Well folks, found another classic spot, not even 15 yards down from the swim I was fishing just now. We've got a fallen tree to my right. It's created a narrow channel of really fast flow, but a big area of slack water, which has got perch written all over it. So, same rig, got about not even a foot of drop from the hook to the drop shot weight. Let's cast it out there, see what we can get. So I just had a bump there in the fast area of water, right in the fast place where you'd think it isn't perchy. What they do is they follow the lure into the fast water, and if you just, when it gets in that fast water, barely twitch it every now and then, really slow twitches like an injured fish, and they love it. Well, I don't know if you can see this guys, but I've actually found what's called an eddy, which is where the water flows back on itself. It's kind of, the fast current goes down, as it goes around the bend it creates an eddy, so the water curves around and goes back on itself. That's classic pike territory, but it's also very good perch territory. I've just got my lure in that eddy, and I'm almost going to work it on the spot. I'm in the kill zone now. Fish on! Not huge, I don't mind. Still totally awesome. And again, hooked in the top lip. I've noticed with drop shot fishing, you generally always get it in the top lip. Awesome, let's get him back, get another one. Fish on again. Ooh. Bit of a better size, this one. There we go. There goes the dorsal. Look at that, what the perch are famous for. Awesome fish. Again, look, top lip. We'll put him back, and I'm going to cast straight into that eddy again. Exact same cast, exact same area. Probably exactly the same fish. There we go. That's number 3 in this eddy swim. One of the important things to remember when you're drop shot fishing is always check your lure, especially if you've just had it run through a snag or something like that. Make sure that there's no twists. Often it can twist around the hook a couple of times. You don't want that. You want that hook sitting as proud as possible, sticking out from the line. So sometimes you might need to adjust your knot again and move it over to the eye like we did when I was tying up the rig. Just move it over to the top of the eye so that the lure sits out like that, out to the side. And then again, make sure that you're not obscuring the barb of the hook with the lure, because that's often what can help keep a fish on. So pull that lure down, and then look, you've got all that movement there. It can spin around, up and down, so much movement. So just check that, and always double check your lead as well. Again, check for any weed on your hook. A lot of the time fish see that even a tiny speck of weed, they won't take it. So you must check for the weed on your hook. Any tiny bits, pluck off so that it's just a clean hook and no weed on your lure as well. And then cast out again. Also, what happens with these finesse type rods is, especially with braid, it can tangle around the tip of the rod, like here. It's halfway down. Now, this is quite obvious, but it's not obvious when it gets to your tip ring that you actually, it's called tip wrapped around the tip. If you get a big fish, you will bust off, okay? The lure will come out, or if you're using light line, you'll snap off. So always, before you cast, always unwrap your line to check that it is free, and I always give it a tug and hear the drag pull off. Then I know that that is free. So we're all set to go. Check the lures, check the lead, check the line. Cast it back into that slack water. On the money, I reckon 100% I'm going to get a perch. Fish on. And there we go. Top lip again, I told you. What an awesome fish. I love them all sizes perch. I caught that big one yesterday and I'm still happy catching these ones. What a beauty. Hopefully it grows into be a big old boy. When you're handling them, just so you know, these are all spiky. The dorsal fin, these are spiky. They're not going to kill you, but they're just a bit sharp, so watch out for those. The rest of it down here is okay. These fins aren't spiky, but they do have a spike on the edge of their gill. If I just show you here, the edge of their gill here, on their gill plate, there is a spike on there, so just be wary of that. Teeth wise, they're not like pike, they haven't got really sharp teeth, but don't do it, but you can I can put my finger in there, it doesn't bite. So just be wary of the spikes on the fin. What I do when I handle them is put them on the palm of your hand like this, and then hold that dorsal fin down, and that way you can't get spiked by the dorsal fin because it's held down, and then just push the hook down and roll, and out it comes, and then gently release it back into the water. Okay, so earlier you heard me talking about an eddy, and you see a lot of fishing programs and they talk about it and they don't actually tell you what it is and actually show you what it is. So here's this fallen tree over there that I was on about. As you can see, it's created a narrow channel through there, and that's funneled all the water, so it's really fast coming through here. And you can see by the swirls on the water there, this is all fast. Now the great tip that I was talking to you yesterday when Dad was with me is about the leaves. You can see the leaves falling on the water now, and then look, this is the fast flow. You can see the leaves moving really quickly on that fast flow, and then look over here, they're moving back upriver that way, and that's an eddy. That's how they form. The river comes round here, the fast water, it curls as it goes towards the bend, which is round there. So it just creates slack water, and all that slack. But if you look at the leaves, they can give you the tips. Look, that's going back the other way upriver. The river's flowing that way, down there. These leaves are going that way. That is a sure sign that over there, there's some really slack water. And what happens is the bait fish, sort of the minnows and everything like that, they come through here, they get whooshed through the fast water, and they spin out of the fast water. And that's where the perch are waiting for them, the predators. They're not dumb, these predators, they're very clever. Designed to hunt and kill. So they'll just sit there, out comes dinner, straight into their mouths. So I've been casting and getting my perch right over there, and my lure's actually almost been going that way a bit, and the takes are, I've cast it so the lead hits there and the takes are about here. But often when you come through the fast water here, just slow tweaks like this, really gentle tweaks, and that looks like an injured fish, and a lot of the time a perch will come from the slack water and slam into it there. So be wary of that. And work the swim. Don't just cast there all the time. Yes, I've had about 4 casts there now and about 4 fish. But I'm going to have a cast up here as well in these slap bit, in that hole there. Probably in that hole there. Might be a bit shallow there, but definitely out the back here. So let's give it a go. I'm going to switch to the GoPro now, just because I'm going to move swims, and it's quite hard with this bigger camera to keep getting it out. So I'm going to go over to the smaller camera on the chest mount, and hopefully we'll get some more fish. So this is what the lures look like underwater. As you can see, the lead is just about a foot away from the lure itself, and this doesn't spook the perch at all. In fact, I actually think it attracts the perch. If you watch this next clip, just listen to the noise that the lead makes. Well, there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed that video. I certainly did enjoy it. I got my PB perch. I'm still absolutely over the moon with that. Thankfully, Dad was there with the camera to help me film it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully maybe 1 or 2 of those tips will work for you. And get out there, guys, and try this totally awesome drop shot fishing.